Hi everyone. Hope everybody's enjoying the springtime. I'm so happy because it's finally green here and we've got all the flowers are out, so it's lifting my spirits. But I wanted to let you guys know what's been going on with me. I've had a huge traumatic experience, as you well know from my last video, where actually I had found a very close friend of mine that I had known since high school, and she had decided to leave this world by her own hand. And I don't want to go into a lot of the detail of it because it is traumatic, and I think it's not good to talk about it too much, because it's dark, right? It's sad, dark, and it's not really what I want to focus on. But what I want to focus on is what I've learned from the whole experience, okay? Because I've been with people, passing from sickness, my husband, and I've been with my mom when she passed. She actually passed just behind me in my home. And, an elderly person. So I have been with people when they've passed, but I've never found somebody. Okay, so it's a different experience for me because, you go through all the emotions. You go through the sadness, the guilt, the shock, and then trying to understand it, right? Trying to understand why, right? So there's all these emotions that go through it, and I've had to process through them all in the last 3 weeks, and I'm telling you, I've gone through them all, okay? Because at first I felt compassion, but then I found out, she told me she wanted to. She had done it before, tried to do it before. She actually told me she had an outer body experience for 4 days the last time she tried to do it back in her 20s, and she saw the other realm, which is fascinating, right? So she saw the different colors, she felt the warmth and the love there. So I think when somebody experiences those other realms, it's very hard to feel connected to this realm. So that's when somebody has an outer body experience or a near-death experience, I think it really changes their life dramatically. So that had happened to her. So she was also bipolar, which I just recently found out. And I had lost a friend last year actually less than a year ago, and he was bipolar, and he decided to leave as well. So I think it's important that we talk about that, because I think people that are awake but don't like the energies that are coming into the planet right now, and the realization how everything is quite, there's a plan for darkness. I think it's affecting them, right? So they just want to just leave. So I'm not sure if that's all like divine in a way, that some of them just don't want to experience what's going to happen here. And that's a personal choice, right? Everybody has that choice. But I think to experience what's coming is going to be amazing. Like I wouldn't want to miss out on that, right? Out of, just sadness or all these lower emotions. You want to try to push through and see the light in everything so that you can experience this divine power we have within our body. That's what I believe, okay? I believe that we're uncovering who we really are and what we are really capable of, okay? And I do think we are interdimensional beings that are capable of jumping dimensions, basically. I do believe that, okay? And the more I study about the ley lines and what the ancients believed, the more that's confirming. So I had spoken to her a lot about my book, what's coming out in my book. And I had spoken to her a lot about ley lines and healing the ley lines. And I will go into that more in my book about how she kind of fits in, because she was listening to me. But what ended up happening was that she left on Beltane. Okay, so Beltane traditionally in Druid history was a time when the veil is very thin, the same as Samhain, which is Halloween. So these times of the year, which is like halfway between dark and light. So it's basically halfway between the spring equinox and the summer solstice. And that's Beltane. May 1st, the May Queen. And then we have Halloween, which is, going towards the darkness, like halfway between and going towards darkness. So these 2 times of the year, the veil is very thin, and it's very traditional for the fae, the spirit people, the fairies, to be able to come into this realm and affect people. Okay. So because she had this outer body experience for 4 days and hadn't really felt grounded in this realm. Okay. She never felt really grounded. And she talked about what she'd done many times. So she was openly talking about it. So she had talked to me about it the day before and said she couldn't leave because she had all these animals that needed her. And I said, that's right, you can't. But then that night, her house burnt down with all her animals in it. Okay. So then she had a reason to leave. Okay. So when I looked into the history of Beltane, it's can be a sacrificial day. And you can, the Fae people can actually convince you to sacrifice yourself. Okay. And the belief is you sacrifice yourself as your own choice so that you can bring more light into the world. Now, I'm telling you, this person was like a little Fae person. She was like 97 pounds, full of might, full of strength, super athletic, top shape. Okay. But I guess being bipolar, she would have this manic high energy all the time, and then she'd go into these lows, right? And she talked about it. She said, I don't want to be here anymore. And I said, well, I need you. I hugged her. And anyhow, that was, I guess her way of saying, I'm done. I'm just done with this whole realm. I'm not interested in it anymore. It's too dark here. She didn't like the darkness here. So, but that's not a reason to, check out. It's like, to me, it's like, because that darkness that you're holding has to be transmuted by the people that are still left here. So that's what I've been doing. I've been trying to transmute that darkness because, I could have gone into a deep darkness myself because of the guilt or the, just the whole emotion of it all. Because, I found her. So it was shocking. Okay. So anyhow, what did I do? I had to, start thinking about, okay, it happened on Beltane. There's a song that we used to always play at our high school dances, the last song called Stairway to Heaven, and it talks about the May Queen going to the west, the Pied Pipers calling you to join them. And, that is weird because she was facing west. Okay, so the west is traditionally in astrology, Libra, which is to do with relationships, but it's also the alchemic symbol for Libra is the symbol for death, okay? Because the sun is dying at the end of the day, and that's why it's considered to be the death symbol, okay? So it's all to do with the sun. So yeah, so Beltane has traditionally to do with fire, burning, purification, and then it has to do with the summer coming and the light. So actually, the May Eve is the last day, and is supposed to be kind of the the darkness when the Fae can come and take over your soul. And so you have to protect yourself on Beltane. You're supposed to protect yourself with you put rowan over your doorway. And what's interesting, she was upset because she was a school teacher and the kids were picking on her, and the administration decided to just let her go on leave. They didn't fire her, but she was angry at that. And she also had lost 2 dogs a couple of years ago, and she was very angry, she said, at the maker for those dogs being taken away from her. So she had a lot of anger. And then I just feel that somehow she, hooked into that anger, and then, it's not a good time of the year to be angry because you're in a low vibration, and, these energies or these Fae beings can come and convince you of doing things. Okay, so there's a lot going on here that is more to see than just somebody deciding to leave. Okay? So what I ended up doing, I ended up getting a shaman in to come and feel out the energies on my property. And I couldn't believe it. She found a ley line. Okay, so this is what my whole book's about. And my ley line, belief is that we have to kind of heal the trauma in the ley lines, right? That's part of our job, is what I believe. Okay, like we're grounding rods to kind of transmute the darkness. So in a way, she's challenged me to transmute the darkness, right? She's like said to me, okay, you think you're strong, let's see how strong you are. Okay, can you transmute me leaving? And so, that's a big eye-opener for me. And then in Druidry, the beings, like the ancestors, would basically be asked to stay in this kind of ley line, to not leave them, to protect them. So you can have good entities in the ley lines, and then you can also have darker, nefarious entities in the ley line. This is what the shaman has taught me. So the Druid people believed that their ancestors were protecting them, and I do believe that's what the Aboriginals believe too. They call them their song lines, where they can communicate with their ancestors. Now, I have a ley line running through my property. It's actually going, that screen window there you see behind me was where I got married with my husband on a week's notice, when we found out he was passing, going to be, probably not make it. He lasted 8 months, but we got married right away, and we invited everybody here. My friend was here as well, exactly where I'm sitting. I have a video of her coming up and hugging me, okay, which I just recently realized I had that video. So I wanted to do this video right here because my husband was with me, and so was she. Okay, so, and I'm trying to understand, is this something to do with jumping time, or jumping, coming through vortexes? Because the shaman came and she did a ceremony. We created a vortex and we passed souls. Okay, not only my friend, but we passed other souls. Now, one was a man and one was a little girl, and what she explained to me is this is like a highway that's running through, and you can have no souls right now, but then more come traveling along, and there could be more souls. So it's important to stay in high vibration when you have a ley line close to you, because otherwise you're going to attract negative energies. Now, what's interesting, right over there where the door is, behind the door, was where my mom passed. And my mom passed, and she believed that there was people standing next to her. She kept telling me about a week or two before she passed, she kept saying, there's 3 people standing there, and they're just staring at me, and they're not saying anything. And so, I would go along with her because she had dementia, and I would say, oh, what are they saying? What do they look like? And so I'm starting to realize how these ley lines work. Okay. And so it was a huge learning experience for me. And it's almost like my friend gave me that gift, because she knew that I was trying to understand the history in the ley lines, and the healing of what has to be done with the trauma that's gone on this planet. A lot to do with the natives, right? And what happened to them, mainly on the East Coast, because that's where most of the trauma happened. But interestingly, I got married on May weekend, the May Victoria Day weekend in the rest of Canada, but in Quebec it's called the Patriot Day, National Patriot Day, because of the hanging of patriots that were fighting the British when they wanted to have their own independence. And I learned that one of my ancestors had it done, okay, on these patriots. And I had spoken to her about it. I said, I have to go to these ley lines and heal this. I have to go to these sites where this happened, and I have to do my meditation there and apologize for my bloodline for allowing this to happen. This is kind of what we need to do. We need to understand our history. That's why it's so important to understand history and find out, what your DNA has been doing. Okay, so this is all part of healing, not healing also your own ancestral line, but healing the earth. So, you know, she knew that, okay, and she went out the same way. So I'm I'm like, whoa, you know, that's a lot to take in. I'm just kind of wanted to share this with you guys to so you understand why I've been kind of quiet lately. I'm just trying to understand it all, and I think I've processed through it all now. I understand the importance of ley lines and timelines. Now, what this shaman said, she said to me that it's not just on this dimensional level, it's other levels of other dimensions. These highways are interdimensional. Okay, so there's a way of, I guess, creating vortexes and going out, you know, through rituals. There was 4 of us that did the ritual, including her. And yeah, we meditated and passed these souls through. And there was a lot of noise going on when it happened, when we were passing them through. So it was quite the experience for me. I really learned a lot from all of this, and I'm grateful to my friend for helping me understand this, because I would never have known that I had a ley line running through my property and right through my house. So supposedly when you have one running through your house and you're like not in good spirits, you should always put a mirror up facing to the wall, like, so you'd have the back of the mirror facing into your room, on both sides of the house, and that's important to stop bad entities coming through. But when you start learning about, you know, Beltane and the Fae and how they, you know, are known to like kidnap souls, you know, and take them away on the Beltane, and I guess the same as Halloween or as well. So it's when the veil is very thin. So yeah, it's just mind-boggling. I'm telling you, I'm just like blown away that have all these events happen. But then in the end, it was a gift again, you know. So it's just trying to see the good in the event, right? And it took me a little while to understand that. And I actually found out that she had planned it. Okay, so because she had lied to the police after the fire, they let her drive away, and they didn't inform me, and they didn't inform her family. She told them she had no family. So, you know, she had kind of like decided beforehand. So I have to respect that, right? And respect her wishes on that, and just give her a blessing and, you know, love to wherever she's going now and wherever she wanted to go. So it was a lot. It was really a lot. So I'm gonna get back doing the classes. I still have 4 classes, I believe, to finish, and the next one is on the MUSES. I want to start, I've mentioned this before, another sister channel that is just kind of going on talking about astrology and what's happening in the sky every week. I think I need to do that, and I will try to get that done soon, because I'm worried that I'm going to get strikes and I'm going to lose my channel, because somebody else has, you know, almost been banned, and she was telling me that, yeah, they're coming in striking you, and just from old videos. I have one strike from a few years ago, a video I did that's been sitting there for a few years, but they decided to strike it. So I'm going to do that. And I'm almost finished my book. I really worked hard on it the last last month. I was going crazy, just going, and I'm just have to finish it up, and then I got to edit it, and it'll be available. I'm going to start it off as an ebook just to see how people are feeling about it. But it is like a Da Vinci Code. It's all about the ley lines. It's a lot to do with the history of the ley lines and what our job is, you know, to help heal all this. You know, it's like, but it's fascinating because the ley lines are where all the energy is, and they've created so much history on them. And that's all for a reason, you know, for us to pay attention and to understand. Certain ley lines have more negative ones, other ones have more positive ones. So, you know, this is important to understand. So, yeah, so I just wanted to fill you in on all that. So I haven't disappeared. I'm sorry I haven't been around, but now you can understand why. And I hope everybody's doing well. Check in on your friends, maybe some of your people that are struggling with you know, with if they're bipolar, check in on them, because I guess the energies are getting pretty heavy for some people. And, you know, if you're a very, very light being, you know, I think it's harder, you know, the energies are harder to absorb, and you have to just keep pushing through to stay positive and not let, you know, any of this heaviness that's on the planet right now to take you down. You know, you got to hold your ground. And I had said that to her. I had said, you have to protect yourself. You know, you need some obsidian. You need to listen to certain frequencies. And, you know, I'd said that to her the day before. You know, you have to protect yourself. This is important. You know, you create your energy field, create your armor around you, you know, this gold orb around you. It's like an apple, golden apple. You're inside of it. Ground it down to the center of the earth. These are all things you need to do on a daily basis. Zip yourself up so the energy doesn't come in, and ground. You know, at least barefoot or leather soles on the ground. Drink copper water. All these things, it's helping you go through all these energies that are coming in right now. Right now we have Mars in Cancer. So the energies are kind of heavy because Mars in Cancer makes everything kind of tired, and there's not a lot of get up and go. Okay, so if you're not feeling very energetic, that's why. Okay, and then the moon's going into Cancer as well, so that's your emotions are kind of like with this depleted Mars in there, and that's all to do with your memories as well. So there's lots of, you know, going back in time and looking at stuff. That's what I've been doing, looking at old videos and stuff, and trying to process through the emotions, right? And just go inward like that. You know, it's hard to have all the energy to keep going all the time, but it won't be there for a super long time, so we'll get out of it. So Cancer's not a very big constellation, it's pretty small. So anyhow, that's what's going on with me, and I'm going to get the next video out for the muses for the next class. Okay, so the 9 muses and the importance of them, because everything's about Taurus. And I do believe the muses are related to the Pleiades, and, you know, this is very important. All the ancient texts, they always talk about the muses and all the artwork, and why is that, right? Because there's a secret there with the muses, and it has to do with understanding where they are in your body, and so that's what the next class is about. So I'm just signing out. And thanks for listening, and I appreciate you guys and with your patience, and all the people have been checking in on me. I'm still here. I'm still okay. It's just been a lot, you know, so yeah. And it was my 15th wedding anniversary yesterday. So I'm just like, wow, a lot of people have left my life since then. You know, it's been crazy. It's hard to get your head around, just mind-boggling. I'm just like, where does the time go? You know, and cherish your connections with people, because they can be just gone like that. And, you know, make sure you've said the right things to everybody that you love, because, you know, they're gone. You can't say it now. Well, you can, but they're not going to hear it the same way. So stay in love. Take care. Bye. Bliss.